Hello, 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 travelers, and welcome back to another episode of wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. I am the one thing I cannot control. Sorry, I don't know why Hamilton always earworms every now and then. Severance. And for anybody curious, because we are post-Oscar celebration, I still owe this movie a full official review, but our girl, Honora won Best Picture, so that's really cool. Actually, it swept. A couple things I want to address that I believe were misconstrued. I kind of addressed them in the comments, but the unfortunate part about YouTube is that once it's out there. I was not trying to say Gemma completely is there currently and from the beginning of her own volition through and through. I think it was misconstrued that way, because people in the comments were like,
oh, the people that have the theory that all this is, she's down there on purpose and she meant to be, they're fools.
And I'm like, yeah, no, in thinking how she got to that point, yes, the most likely scenario is that, I don't know, her car was run off the road, maybe some, people that work for the company kidnapped her and took her in. What's weird is that when she's not Innie, when she's outie on that floor, or maybe she's another version of Innie, who knows, but she goes down her own memory lane the same time that Mark is going through his whole little Chikai Bardo experience. She's experiencing memories of her outie self. All I was suggesting is that perhaps in a well-intentioned but slightly misguided attempt, maybe she willingly went into a program that quickly turned south, and now she's very clearly she's trying to escape and she's being held against her will. I admit most likely she did not get there of her own free will. I was just saying, in speculation and theory crafting, here's the fun thing, kids, because you don't know the answer either, unless I guess you've seen the season already. We don't know, and there's a chance for everything and anything. Notice how I didn't make statements. I kept asking questions. I was saying, oh, did she go there herself? Did she choose to be here? What's going on? Trying to get more information. So I'm as clueless as you are, partner. When I was speculating about what they were doing on the testing floor, I want to reiterate, I do believe that what they're trying to perfect down there for the outside world, the testing floor is a barometer, and the experiments, like I've always said on the Severance floor for human trials and testing, are even more so on that particular floor because they're trying to isolate emotions via experiences, basically, so that they can use the chips in the real world as part of what they're trying to sell as a pharmaceutical giant, as things that can, maybe it's because my verbiage was remove the emotion, but really just to turn them on and off, or to be able to remove the unpleasantness here and there, like we saw, like I mentioned, I think, with the Artetas and the whole, the pregnancy retreat and all that. Don't want to go through the pain of childbirth? Why, just get a severance implant and you can sever yourself during the painful operation of childbirth, and then who knows what else. We're all on the same page. I just want to make sure, I saw all your comments and I'm like, yeah, I agree. I still can't shake that Rickon uses the same language as other followers of Kier, not to mention his time management during his book reading break. Let's take a 7-minute reflection break. I think there are many Lumen plans all over the place, and they may not even be consciously aware. Yeah, there's a lot of theories and theorizing out there that suggests that Rickon is, he's involved, and I wouldn't rule it out either. He's definitely a queer fellow. I was even talking about it with the previously aforementioned adult friends of mine, and when we were talking for an hour on theories and all that, so it was tossed around, are all Rickon's friends, are they just quirky, lackadaisical, weird artists, self-centered and kind of head in the clouds, or are they odd because they are also severed, or maybe they're innies or something like that? I don't know. I feel like once Cold Harbor is finished, outie Gemma won't cease to exist anymore, and they will use her body chip to revolve the CEO's consciousness through. I'm subscribed to part of that theory. I don't know what will become of Gemma or what won't become of Gemma. Again, this goes into the whole body swapping theory, which I've been slowly buying more and more into as I get more information. People are even suggesting that there's multiple Gemmas on the Severance floor. It's not just one. There's clones. I don't know. I think that's a little bit far-fetched personally, but go off, right? Regarding this, yeah, we've speculated for a while that the whole thing, it would make sense what the Egans are trying to do, basically create and perfect immortality, essentially. And what better way? The flesh, the soul, and the spirit outweighs the flesh. The great revolving is upon us, and we seek our new vessel. 100% Kier. Is the wall of smiles from season 1 images of previous test subjects like Gemma? Ooh. Oh, this episode threw me for a loop. So much of it reminded me of part of the game Metal Gear Solid 2, oddly enough. Yeah. Given the right conditions, the right story, anyone could be molded into Snake. The different decades in the room seem like they're trying to have Gemma recreate a story that may have already been told. The constant references toward birthing makes me think they're trying to prime a physical rebirth of an Egan. Everything is for Kier though. Oh, it always is for Kier. Kier, chosen one, Kier. And I'll try to be careful of this. I've been told that I'm missing small expressions and reveals while taking notes. So again, I'll try to be liberal with the pausing. Scary Doctor says that, Dr. Maurer says that once Cold Harbor is ready, Gemma will finally be able to see and be seen by the world. It's clear that Gemma is severed an insane number of times, and that each room is testing some sort of uncomfortable human experience, and the refiners are involved with creating or maintaining these rooms in some way. But why would Gemma be allowed to leave once it's all said and done? The new prevailing theory is that Gemma is to become a Siri or Alexa or some mass-marketed AI. Oh, literally an episode of Black Mirror. What is that, White Bear? I don't know how I feel about the AI bit. If that's the new meta, then, cool. But I don't know how I feel about that. I think the will she be allowed to leave can go either way, because I think she would be, but not as herself. I think that they're telling the truth when they say you're almost ready to go out there, but not as her. Like, I do agree with that part. Mark will benefit from the world you're siring. Kier will take away all his pain, just as he's taken away yours. I do think that they will release her, but not as herself. I think we're both on the same track there. Towards the end of the episode, Gemma asks Mark if he saw the Denali info. He said, "Not yet, I'll take a look." Denali is also known as Mount McKinley in Alaska, highest mountain peak in US. Oh, highest waterfall in the world, perhaps. To me, that indicates she intended to plan a mountain hiking trip, possibly taking a break from the emotional turmoil of miscarrying and fertility treatments. Like Mark said, let's stop. I am more convinced that Lumen snatched her against her will. Maybe when they realized she was moving on from fertility treatments, they took action. Yeah, see? I could buy that too. I have another terrifying thought. When Gemma enters Cold Harbor, she will be drowned. That is her final room. Something I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if we'll see it by the end of this season or not. In the promotional material, episode 1 as well, I think maybe even a little bit in episode 2, but especially prevalent in the opening credits for this season, where are all the balloons? We had Mark's head on the balloons, and then in the opening credits, there's a lot of imagery of him with a balloon head floating around and just, the noggin expanding. And yet, as far as I can tell, unless there's some imagery that I'm missing, I'm wondering where all the balloons are, because there's supposed to be heavy symbolism, unless it's just meant to be tied to that first episode. Goats everywhere in this episode. Look at the poster next to the eye exam when the nurse is in first with Gemma. Oh yeah, and also writing the greeting cards. Is it just me, or is the weird guy that is in all the rooms with Gemma also the guy walking past them after they check into the fertility office? Yeah, I missed that in my first viewing, and I saw it when I was editing, and I was like, oh, it is Maurer. Let me roll out some tinfoil. Hell yeah. It's been said that there are hidden areas throughout the world, either in DUMBs, deep underground military bases, black ops sites run by very nefarious people that perform experiments not only on individual people, but set up whole towns. Some are abducted, even as children, and raise them under various scenarios. Felt like you took so many notes you missed like half the episode. Did I really? I went back over it editing. I feel like I didn't. I'm gonna keep doing what I do. I'm not gonna change it. But I genuinely don't feel like I missed a ton, Like I'll keep a close eye out. We only have 36 minutes this go around. So the refiners are helping to create these rooms, files, in which Gemma and likely others have been severed multiple times and then put through some degree of pain or torture without knowing it. They've mentioned that files expire or don't get finished. Are these test subjects dying, do you think? If each room creates a specific scenario based on the test subject's specific fears or dislikes, and that subject dies, then the room doesn't need to be refined anymore. They can rename it into a different file name for a new test subject. I don't know. There's definitely a correlation, and it's being observed and studied. I mean, if they don't finish it, maybe they just don't go back to the room anymore. Maybe it's a failed experiment. We've seen the testing floor, and we've seen all these rooms, and we've seen Gemma, but we don't officially know how many subjects there are, right? I think the implication is there could be more. But I mean, at least for MDR, we know that's one department. But with MDR, it's like 4, and then we know one's linked up. I don't know, because I mean, like the other people that would be tied to those other people, they're all outside as far as we know. Like Gemma happens to be in the facility. Nothing great to add here, but please keep pausing, taking notes, making jokes. Aw, don't listen to a loud minority. I appreciate that. Yeah, everybody, I like how it's a new inside joke where it's like, I love the comments that are like, great reaction. Cut it out with the trying to be funny over here, Mr. Funny Man. Patreon comments take precedence just because it's the extra layer of contribution and commitment, so I want to honor that. However, top comments, my theory is they want to make Severance a commercial product that, yeah, anyone can just automatically activate. I agree. That's kind of where my head's been leaning at. Please clap. What was that? Is that a Jeb Bush reference?
It's only 105 degrees. I'm in Las Vegas, but I'm wearing my hoodie from Thumbtack.
That's why Ragabi was so insistent Mark didn't throw up when she killed Grainer. They had his DNA from being a donor. Oh, yeah, they could have linked him. That was another thing. People actually were on Ragabi's side. Like, she didn't know Cobel no longer worked for the company, but people were saying she had every right to be upset and leave at that threat. And I think it was just because I was already kind of skeptical of Ragabi from, you know, how quickly she was trying to, like, help Mark. And I think it's still for her benefit, but, like, I'm sure she's not a bad person, but yeah, Ragabi is fully in the right leaving that interaction. Can't blame Devin for that. Yeah, I'll look at that, see a bunch of conversations, seeing both sides of the point. Ragabi is terrible at communicating, though. But yeah, I can see why Ragabi chose to do what she did. 2 chilling themes for you. On the clinic's paperwork, it says Bootsman, which is the German equivalent of Boogeyman, right? So the Boogeyman fertility clinic, which is hilarious. The Christmas psalm playing in the Allentown room, Baby It's Cold Outside, is a dialogue between a woman who's trying to leave and a man who's trying to keep her there. Indeed. That's true. It's a Christmas psalm that has infamously not aged well. My theory is that MDR, or at least Mark, is essentially packaging up the balance of the 4 tempers that's specific to Gemma, the essence of her being. That's how Mark had his freshman fluke when he first started, as it was right after her death, and she was always on his mind. The rooms are testing whether Severance acts as a barrier against bad experiences, and my theory is that Cold Harbor's bad experience is death, and they think Severance can be a barrier to that as well. The body dies, but the innie is reborn in another body using the 4 tempers that MDR filtered and packaged. This might also be why twins play a big role this season. Dieter and Kier, Orkbo, even the underground refiners look like twins of our main characters. James Egan referred to his revolving, which sounds like his essence being put into a new body upon death, and I think that is what Cold Harbor is testing for. The doctor also told Gemma, like I said earlier, the world will see you again, which kind of does sound like she will die and be reborn. And apparently someone said there's 2 fish in the tank, 1 red, 1 blue, and separate divided tanks. I think you missed that this episode makes it extremely clear, clearly not extremely, because I guess I and other people missed it, that Gemma has multiple innies, not a single innie who's experiencing the rooms. I don't know if I agree with that. Just wanted to point out that it's definitely important that she's been severed into multiple innies. I like it when we theorize. I personally would hesitate from speaking in, I refuse to speak in absolutes, basically, until I am given an absolute answer in front of me. Even maybe this is one that I missed, I don't know. We can get lost in the comments forever and ever. There's hundreds on there. At some point when I do a season 2 retrospective video, which I always like to do on the really good shows, I'll go back and I'll read through every comment. I'll either admit to being wrong or I'll say nana boo boo.
Stick your head in doo-doo.
Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Keep in mind, if you want access to the full uncut, uncensored reaction, it's going to be over on patreon.com/MovieMan101. YouTube, of course, is still more than enough. Appreciate love and support. With that being said, episode 8, the shortest episode in the season so far, Sweet Vitriol. A Cold Harbor. Oh god, I gotta get my pen ready. More blue. On the coast. Did Cobel drive all the way? She drove back, but then she left again. Has she gone to the coast? Yep, Cobel's car. Is she about to crash? Is she gonna drive off the cliff or something? Again, in the intro credit sequence, it's her car in icy water, and now she is on a side path along a mountainside right next to icy waters. Side note, I will be more cognizant of when I'm looking down at my note, but believe you and me, I've been multitasking for years. Even if I'm writing notes, my eyes are flitting viciously back and forth. Oftentimes when I take notes on the fly, if there's something going on, I might even it's why the handwriting is so bad sometimes, is that I'll be watching the show while kind of like jotting down a little like esoteric or whatever. I'll be taking notes while watching is my point. But just right off the edge, just doosh. Maybe not. Where is she going? Salt's Neck. If this is a Cobel episode where we get some little Patricia Arquette backstory, I'd be 100% down for that. If we get to finally have some missing blanks filled in of like what happened to her, who she is, if the armband, there's been speculation, was it her mother, was it a sister, was it her like a child or something like that? The obvious answer would be it was her mother and she was taken in from a young age, like Ragabi said, raised as a Lumen soldier, you know. I assume she's going home. Definitely not a Lumen-owned town. This is like a fishing coastal village, I'm getting vibes. The weathered wood. The water's right there. I love the vibe, though. One might say it is, in fact, a cold harbor. Sure, a whole community. Small fishing village. I see the church right there. I see industry, docks, civilization, people, small town. Very rocky terrain. Welcome to Salt Neck. Interesting. Flashback. Ooh. Gentle fade in. No opening credits yet. I like to see how she interacts with other people that aren't Lumen or Kier PE oriented. So is this like Salt Neck PE? You got a staring problem there. He's huffing something, alright. Litter bug. Never mind, piece of shit. Oh, right when Devin was calling. We've sort of established the timeline as Mark's going through his ego death phase, his Chikai Bardo, so, as it were. Which, by the way, I think I agree that maybe the process of reintegration is now complete as the sun shines, symbolic of him waking up to this new, like, both memories kind of colliding in the same space, perhaps. He hasn't said a word yet. This helps establish the timeline. So literally, as Mark is, like, going through his Chikai Bardo, now she's entered Salt Neck. Fresh cup of black coffee and pie. Discount Twin Peaks.
You know, this is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
The simple things. So far, we've just seen elderly and destitute.
Well, that's kind of you. On the house.
Okay. Okay. Whatever that was, it's the same vial I think the old gal out there was huffing.
Hey, Rose. You want a refill?
You can top me off anytime.
No. Rose.
Like the new do. Trey chic.
Trey chic. They even speak French out here. His little cafe barely holding on. We just park in the middle of the road? Jesus. I'm sure she knows somebody in here. Dude literally litters and just parks in the middle of the street. Cobel's a menace. Hello, father. Sea bisque? Oh, I can go for some like, seafood or clam chowder right now.
Harmony, Cobel. Well, flip my toboggan.
Tables are for paying customers.
Fine, then buy me a coffee.
Damn. All right, good to know she's the same to literally everybody. Everybody's
The town is older than I remember.
Everybody's blue eye color, blue sky, blue waters, blue clothing, blue plaid shirts.
Like, blue jeans.
Frailer.
You know, around with the market readjustment from a few years ago and the fluctuating interest rates, there was a retrenchment from some of the core infrastructure investments.
What Lumen pulled out? Town's not doing so well economically.
I need a favor.
Oh, interesting. Does he?
Meet me at the factory.
The factory. Does he owe you a favor? What is her prerogative right now? She gets fired. She leaves. She comes back, tries to strong-arm her way specifically as head of MDR. They don't capitulate. She starts to follow to talk to the board, gets cold feet, turns and goes. I don't know if this is still where she was heading originally before she turned around episodes ago. Like if this was always her destination or not, I don't know. What is her goal then? But she was intent on getting back in there and specifically heading up MDR and making sure the Mark's Cold Harbor file got complete. Blue car. More blue. Lumen, right there. Interesting. So shuttered building, Lumen. Yeah, so literally I think what he's saying is this used to be a Lumen town, and then they pulled out their investments and moved on. And when they did that, the town just kind of died. The industry died. But something tells me there's still some pharmaceuticals, some early snake oil that people are huffing and getting high on. Maybe medicine that Lumen was manufacturing that didn't work properly, but it could still be used to get high off of, right? So Lumen definitely had, past tense, had industry out here, pulled out, moved on, the town just slowly shriveled up. Kier Egan's Lumen Turt is a mural corvo. I can't quite tell what that is. Cure for all. Literally, I think I'm right. Cure for all. The old terminology. Ah, yes. Step one, come on. Lumen Industries cure all. The cure for what ails you. I'm telling you, already my theory is they had a medicine they were making. It was snake oil. Didn't work. And then, even either before or after, but at some point, Lumen left, but whatever's left over, and then get their hands on it, people can still get high off the stuff. Cure all. Yep. I bet there it is. The old Lumen factory. Lumen Industries. The globe seems even bigger. They've kind of consolidated their logo in the recent years. This is literally going to be so cool for lore and world building to see old Lumen. Especially if it's like literally in the time of Kier. Perhaps Jane was but a wee lad. She's even wearing blue under that. Like, love all these shots.
You know how it is to ask me to come here.
He used to work here?
I need you to drive me to Sissy's.
Sissy's? Oh. Sister?
Oh, no thanks.
Damn.
If they're watching the house, they'll recognize my car.
How much trouble are you in?
Lumen watching house. She's in deep.
Enough.
If they're watching the
She
house.
still lives by the 9.
I assume
Then you know she's a fucking pariah here.
you can stay in the truck.
She talks the same way to everybody.
I need to get something.
Lives by the
How do I
9.
help you with anything?
We were once chums. Old colleagues lift each other up.
Colleagues. Child labor.
Oh, both worked for Lumen as children.
Kier and Imogen.
Met at the ether mill. Is it really an ether mill? And that was the cure for what ails you down at the old ether mill.
Was she hacking up a lung at the time?
I can smell it on your breath. Pathetic.
He's also partaking.
You can help me or not.
I mean, the whole town
But
is.
I'll not be the punching dummy for your resentments.
They both worked for Lumen way back in the day. She bought in and got far in the company and left when they did. And he, either they just chose to leave him and everyone else behind, or he didn't want to go along with it. I mean, probably in the heyday, maybe it seemed like something nice, but overall, I mean, it's like they boosted the economy and then they pulled out and subsequently wrecked it. But I love, like, we're seeing more of the world, more of the outdoors, a lot of sky and seas, and now just like frozen tundra and land. A blue canister in the back, blue tarps. Devin calling again. Am I crazy? We didn't get his name yet, right? Another blue house. And everything was blue.
I'm blue, you're higher than a bearded vulture.
I only have to use that one. Higher than a bearded
Tell
vulture.
her to drop dead for me.
Oh,
You are not welcome here.
religious garments. Damn, old childhood home.
I have a mind to call the authorities. I do not want that huff peddler on my property.
You gave him his thirst for it.
Yikes.
You got liar's mouth.
Harmony, obviously. Oh, just tracking her. Celestine Sissy Cobel. Oh, Celestine. Yep. Her sister. There we go. Who purposefully keeps Sissy as part of their name? Quarterly streamer? What'd that say? Streamer? Lumen. 4th quarter. Year of vision? Quarterly striver. Your apprentice. She still keeps those up. Interesting.
What have you done with my things?
Sold to the poor.
Damn.
Weren't yours to sell.
You kind of left, sister.
I sit in this house.
Blue
You do
curtains. More blue. She's all in white.
Has
Interesting.
anyone been here?
not. No one comes here.
Is she still devout
Telephone.
to Lumen, the cause?
A Mr. Drummond.
Oh, no.
And what did he want?
What have you done, little mouse?
Gone against the vision of Kier.
Harmony!
I want
More
the key in
blue.
Mother's room.
Blue everywhere.
That room stays shut until all who remember her sit with Kier. You know this.
Give me the key.
Sissy is...
Why do you bring nothing but woe into my life?
Whoa, one of the one of the tempers.
You who cursed this house with woe.
I will not have this quarrel.
All the old verbiage.
Our last word.
Sadness in the eye.
after you pulled the tube from her gullet.
Mm-hmm. She killed her, took her off life support. Dude, blue everywhere. Blue frames in the mirrors, blue curtains on the wall, blue paint on the inside and outside of the house.
There was gratitude in her eyes to be freed from her suffering.
Believe she
If
helped.
only she had been a believer,
Ooh.
perhaps she would have found solace in the 9.
She's genuinely emotional. Dude, I think her sister's more bought in than she was. Very curious to see why, out of the two of them, then Sissy stayed and Harmony chose to leave, unless Lumen was like, oh, Sissy, you need to stay behind and you know, keep a light in the window on, you know? But she genuinely believes what she's saying.
You didn't have to listen to her wheezing, as I did day after day.
I would have cared for her myself had I not been at school.
Where you belonged.
I didn't even get to say goodbye.
Your studies were more important.
Mm.
Mr. Egan saw Kier in you, and the Wintertide Fellowship. Even at the
Wintertide Fellowship, taught by Mr. Egan. What, James? Taught by James or a different Egan? Different Egan back in the day. We're in winter right now. Makes me interested.
factory, no apprentice was more industrious than you. Such a disappointment you've proven to be.
Estranged family, to say the
What did
least.
Drummond tell you?
Return and plead forgiveness, child.
I see an altar in the back with a beard. I think it's one of the Kiers.
The Egans will grant it.
For
Show me mercy,
your contrition.
just like you did with Mother.
Gone against the grain too much. I'm pretty sure that's a whole Egan altar in the back. Potentially with little
Where's
goats.
the key?
With those sheep. Like a flock. Could be goats. Old mustached stone.
All you will find in there is pain.
So much to absorb. Love the music though. Not chimes, not gongs. What would you call those things? Oh my god, the Four Tempers. There's so much to unpack in this room. Four Tempers, shrine. Like there's too much in this room for me to do like a beat by beat breakdown. Maybe I can find some still images that are better resolution online after this. Another plaque on the wall in here too. Blue candles. Oh yeah, Kier altar. Goats again, goats.
Where is it?
Vision, probity. Oh yeah, wiles. Those are the okay, no, because there's the Four Tempers, there's the 9 tenements, right? Dude, it's crazy how like it's not just a company. It's literally, I mean, we've seen from episode 1 religious symbolism, iconography. There's this like the verbiage they use, the fact that they literally have scriptures and books. They have, I mean, we just thought some people were devout, but I mean, my God, there are people that literally it is their life, it is their religion, it is their philosophy, it is their core life being. Is they worship at the fucking altar of Kier like he's a god. They have candles. They have tame the tempers within you. You have to adhere to the 9 tenements. You sing hymns and songs, and you praise this man, this family, this lineage, this being. And absolutely no separation of church and state in all this.
I found it!
Oh, that wasn't the mother's room. That was Sissy's room. She just hid that. Okay. All these years later, Sissy still keeps all of her Lumen plaques because that like they just mean that much to her. All the recognition that she got, her perks, as it were. I mean, still with the company enough to the point where Drummond's calling and she's still preaching the gospel, still holding true to her beliefs. Oh, jeez. Now we're in Mother's room. The light shining right there with the head and face would be. Nice little touch. Picture of, I assume that's Harmony. It's a lot to go through. Literally confronting your trauma head on here. Not dark times, so entrenched in the company where she believed she belonged, while her sister was taking care of her. Didn't even get to say goodbye to her mother. Was she gonna leave the tube back here? Old breathing machine, yeah. Jeez. Damn. Probably would lay with her back in the day. Her sister was right. All you'll find in there is pain. Even the tube is blue. Damn it. Sheesh. Yikes. Icy cold blue waters. Again, it's very reflective of the symbolism now with with all the, it's hard for me to put into words, but thematically it also ties in like Cobel herself as this icy cold person. But I take even that shot right there, right? It goes from being these chunks of ice that are frozen rock solid, and as she relives the trauma of like what like her mother being in here in her childhood and all this, the icy rock steel cold hard demeanor of Cobel like melts and gives way to the cold like flowing waters of emotion, so to speak. At least that's how I interpret the shot. The iceberg that is Cobel melting and breaking down. You be careful, if you're here for too long, your ride's gonna leave and Lumen's gonna come pick you up. Uh-oh. You blighted snuff slave. Oh, Harmony, you've been up there for hours.
What is it? What happened?
Nothing. Came to get you. She's not too happy about it.
Did you see something?
No, but it's cold as in the truck and I gotta get back.
I have to find it.
Find what?
Give me a minute just to think.
You've been up here for hours. Lantern, get out of town.
I liked her.
You barely knew her.
She hated Lumen more than I did, so I needed to know. At least she doesn't have to live with Sissy anymore.
Damn. A little bit of dark comedy. There you go. Cobel will like that. Probably didn't have any choice. Couldn't go anywhere else. She was too sick. Sissy's giving me like Carrie's mother vibes. Brings the lantern in, a little bit of warmth into the room. I like that. In an episode that's been full of nothing but just cold, dead, withering, decrepit, paint peeling, icy emotions. We get the icebergs that break as a visual indication of her kind of like breaking down. And then finally we have some actual color, a little bit of warmth being carried in by this guy. Perhaps a little bit on the nose, I know, but an old flame, perhaps. And so now he's being a bit more amiable, trying to find some more common ground. So, you know, brings a little bit of light, a little bit of warmth into this room and this situation. I like that touch. It's even as it even casts on their faces. I like that touch a lot.
I want to get high.
You want to get high. Lumen's old tonic. Of course, even the old bottles are green. Damn. It's a shame. Addiction's always a shame. Oh. What, are you crying or are you laughing? The emotion this guy's got in his eyes, by the way. Is it just ether? Is it just ether? Or is it the old, like, Lumen cure-all? Oh, yeah. I remember. Maybe back in the day, used to get high. My guess is once the town realized the medicinal uses weren't all there, they could still... Oh, no.
Oh, I haven't done that since I was 8.
8? Jesus.
You ready to man the vat for 10 hours?
Man the vat. Oh my god. Lumen was making this stuff, and I don't know if it was always meant to be huffed or not, but at least people found out that you could huff it and get high. Get the loot.
I will not die sober. Get those fucking loads.
Then I heard man the vat. Oh lord. Maybe that's how they discovered it. Workers manning these vats of maybe it's just ether or whatever the cure all is, right? Manning the vats, the fumes, just realized you were getting high in the factory all day. Jeez. 10 hours. And 10 hours as children, child labor, and Kier's old ether mills, if that's what these were. A lot of notes in these last 2 episodes. It's crazy.
It's shameful that you sell it.
Hey, you guys gotta make a living. Share a moment. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they used to be close back in the day as well. I'm glad you got out of here, girl.
I don't like it's here.
He knows what she's looking for too, then?
What you're looking for.
Is it something physical or metaphorical?
She wouldn't throw it away.
Something physical. Will she bury it? About to lose all the light, man, I tell ya. Oh, here we go. There's a bunker, huh? There's a bunker on site? Jesus. Of course there's a bunker. The 5th appendix is here. You be careful. All those hours, like, time has gone by. The sun's set. Sissy might have called in backup. Maybe not hours, but enough time for the sun to get, like, lower than it was. And you... I love so much that the Egans and Lumen can never just have anything just normal. It's not just a yearbook. Annual reminiscences. Myrtle Egan School for Girls. Fascinating. I love the diversity of episodes this season. I'll leave it at that. Oh my god, Jame Egan. Young Jame Egan. What is she looking for then? Go Fighting Kids. Honor and awards. Young Harmony Cobel was valedictorian. Okay. Explains how she got as far as she did. Jame Egan Wintertide Fellowship. Harmony Cobel. Dude, young Jame Egan. Yes, that's Mr. Egan. That's, yeah, basically groomed. Harmony Cobel Wintertide Fellow. Oh, jeez. A bust. Jame Egan, Harmony Cobel, bust. Something hidden inside. Ooh, what did you hide? An old journal? Manual?
Get the truck ready. And watch my head.
Oh.
I'm going. Don't tell them I was here.
I would never bear falsity to a steward of the Egans.
Lumen destroyed this town. You owe them no loyalty.
There was no town before the factory.
Damn, yeah, that's what I figured.
And what about your own employ? Everything that you have, you owe back to the Egans as fealty.
Mine! My designs! Circuit blueprint, base code, overtime contingency, Glasgow block, all of it!
Whoa.
Jame Egan was the inventor.
Oh my god. Oh, the truth comes out. Yo, yeah, she was a star, all right. Groomed and used and appropriated, all with the promise of promotions and moving to the company. Used and then so quickly spat out. Designed. I'm just gonna put everything, just because it's just the short and simple answer to it. Dude, she's a smart cookie. And she's like, Jame Egan was the inventor. So she went back here to get proof that all those designs were hers, that they were her intellectual property.
So I've heard.
Oh yeah, even the procedure of it. Dude, she's a genius, low key. I mean, I knew she was smart, but like, what do you think about this sister act?
Mary,
she even recognizes it.
why have you never spoken of this?
The grave will out the truth.
I was told Kier's knowledge is for all.
Oh.
That is true.
That if I sought credit, I would be banished.
Oh my god. Evil. Oh my god. All for the sake of the greater good, a higher power. These beautiful inventions. That's good. Good job there, Thomas. This is God's creation, God's work. He really... It's a small rant, and it's not... I'm not trying to get on this, like, anti-religious soapbox here or anything, but it's one thing that always grinds my gears, and it's that I have friends, and they're like, really good people. I love them. And they're religious. So be it. You know, follow whatever faith you choose to believe. That's our freedom and right. As long as you have that separation of church and state, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I have one friend who he's a very talented actor, and I've known him since, you know, we went to like arts high school together and all this, and he finds successes here and there. But whenever him or other people find success because of their own talent and their own virtue, they always say, man, I want to thank God for this. I want to thank, you know, the Lord for providing me with, I'm like, no, like sure, you can make it, if you are a person of faith, you can make the case that the Lord put you on a path and provided you with opportunities. But at the end of the day, you're giving away the credit for the extremely talented human being that you are. Like, if you know, audition for a role and landed as an actor, in my not so humble opinion, I guess, I believe God didn't give you that role. You got it. You earned it because you're great and you're talented. You earned that through your own virtue. And this type of pisses me off, because then it's like literally Harmony Cobel going to school even though her mother is ailing and dying, and because she's told this is the thing to do, and clearly she's smart. She becomes extremely well educated. She literally designs the damn Severance chip and all the protocols. She knows how it works. She's studied and and learned how to manipulate brainwave functions. And they told her, oh, the knowledge of Kier, the knowledge of the Egans is for all. The knowledge that you have, what you've learned and built, it's for the world to share and use. And if you take credit for this, then, you know, you're out of here. You're banished. This is our discovery, Harmony.
That is true.
But here's...
If I sought credit, I would be banished.
You even see... Oh my god, you harlot. Oh my god, you... tried to burn it, you witch.
Die as painfully as she did.
It was her hand that removed the tube, not mine.
Is that right?
No.
Your mother was a coward.
Oh.
More sick in the soul than in the body.
Because she didn't believe in your god?
Filled with malice and resentment.
Jesus.
I don't believe you! I thought you were different. I tried to help you grow.
Everybody tried to
But
help
now
her
I
grow. Groom.
You are a weed, just as she was.
It's a shame because there was a moment she looked over the documents and you could see it in her eyes and her face. For those of you who want me to pay attention to the facial expressions, right? Because like I never had before. There's a moment where she was looking and she was like, she even acknowledged, this is extraordinary. This is work. My sister did this. Mayhaps, perchance, I was wrong. It's that moment, but she's so ingrained, she's so bought in. She just can't bring herself to that reality. She would rather burn evidence of her sister's like truth in creation than accept the fact that perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps the faith and doctrine I followed my entire life is flawed. Perhaps my sister was right about this or that.
Hey! Someone's coming!
Yeah, called in the cavalry. I'm sure she did. Gotta make it a daring escape. Evidence of her own intellectual property. You better go. Oh, take the truck? I'll hold him off. What have I got to live for?
Hampton.
I'll see you around.
His name's Hampton. The very end. Just runs him over.
Come tame these tempers of assholes.
Yeah, you get him. Come tame these tempers. I love that.
Listen, Sel, I've been trying to reach you.
Yes, I'm aware.
So listen, Mark has been reintegrating?
We're a copy. And she hasn't killed him yet.
No, I mean, I think he's okay. But listen, we want to try something else.
Is Mark with you?
Oh no! No, this is it though. No, as she escapes, oh my god, she's gonna try to get, no, what do you want to bet? This is the rug pull. Oh no, I can't even, my brain and my heart aren't connecting right now. Hopefully that intro was just a metaphor. The credits, Cobel's car submerged. There's another car on the way, could easily blow through that one guy. Right as she gets on the line, talks to Mark, tries to get some information across, she's gonna be run off the road into the damn waters. Cobel might not make it through this episode.
Hello?
Tell me everything.
Or maybe she does. Well, so much for that. So has she been disenfranchised? It sounds like she's been questioning it since childhood, or at least with the help of Hampton there. I like that we at least got a name drop at the end there. Okay, so I think the car in icy waters is just more of a metaphor for her returning to her home and being submerged in those metaphorical icy waters. I thought she was going to get run off the road there at the end. I liked that episode a lot. Even though it was a shorty, that was still a goodie. We got a lot of information, but perhaps she's like very disenfranchised now.
Where Harmony Cobel goes home. This is where she got her start. Lumen pulled a lot of natural resources from this place. One of those being the people. I think Cobel is one of several promising people who were sort of co-opted and taken away from this town, and it was left gutted. And so she is, for the first time, going back and seeing what their effect is on the real world and what they leave in their wake.
That was really interesting to get to explore a whole different world with that and learn about Cobel as a human being and what the source of her pain is.
We get to see some of where Cobel has come from.
Finally.
And this very strict structure that she came up in, and what happens to people who rebel in this Lumen culture.
How do you find sympathy for a character like Harmony Cobel for something like
I
that?
did.
You have to go back to when she was a child and ask the question, who hurt her?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who brought her into this?
people.
So we knew that Sissy was going to have to be this seemingly irredeemably Lumen person. And Jane Alexander fits so perfectly into that world.
100%.
And she just immediately got the character.
Patricia is such a brilliant actor. She is fearless. She'll take chances. She's playing such a cold, mysterious character in the show. And to see her in a totally different environment when she goes home, and her not being in charge, and
that slap was
she's
unscripted.
being treated like the little girl that she was by her aunt. You see that vulnerability, and you see where the toughness
her
and the
aunt.
hard exterior comes from.
Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. I kept thinking it was her. Well, she called her. I guess I should have put two and two together. She's a much older woman. Sissy is like a nickname that she went by. So when she said Sissy, I thought it was the sister. So Celestine. I'm an idiot. Professor Dum Dum reporting for reporting for duty. Harmony's aunt.
There's aspects of Harmony that people are not really aware of, and part of that is her sentimental past.
Yeah, we
I
are.
think when you have ideology blending with religion or structure, sometimes you really like that as a kid that grew up in chaos.
Yeah.
And yet you may have complicated feelings because within all of that chaos, there still may be love.
That's the thing, is I like how we're delving into this as well, because it's not just like I can harp on, organized religion all day long, but at the end of the day, Lumen and the cult of Kier, as it were.
Cults are scary. And the thing about cults that's important to understand is that literally all of us are susceptible to the influence of a cult if the circumstances are right. Cults prey on people who feel lost and who are particularly vulnerable and easy to be isolated out or are already isolated out. And what they do is they provide people with a very clear structure and purpose and role. They give them meaning. They give them belonging. They basically use all the basic needs of what it is to be human, particularly emotionally, and they provide that to you in a very stable, consistent, reliable, patterned way. And that is incredibly enticing to a person who feels lost and like they're not sure who they are. And then what they do is they create an us versus them mentality, where if you're with us, you are great in the eyes of God or whatever deity they might see. You belong to the group. You are who the leader deems worthy, right? You get to have that purpose. And everybody who's outside of us doesn't understand us and is a threat and wants to hurt you and harm you. And they cut you off from your support system, who is very clearly going to tell you what you're doing is bad. That's how people get caught up in it. And then they get cost sunk. They believe what the manipulative powers that be do, because all that is just coercing people, often to make money, sometimes for for some broader sense of purpose, but there's usually some sort of resource-driven aspect to it. It preys on the need for connection.
At her most ingrained in the philosophy of eganity and all this, I'm sure she feels, indebted to them. Like, oh yeah, everything that I have in life, the position that I had at work, the life that I have, the house that I live in, it was because the Kier and Lumen gave it to me. But at the same time, she has her own virtues. And yeah, it's took her in, groomed her, and turned her into the soldier that she is now. But there's always that question in the back of her mind growing up. And now there's definitely all these resentments. And I think she's finally coming to some realizations and some epiphanies at this later stage in her life.
And
some
I
hard
don't think
truths.
that's really something Harmony wants to look at.
We were tasked with finding a coastal town where Cobel grew up. And Jess, our cinematographer, brought up Newfoundland.
Nice.
Jess had done a film years ago in Fogo Island, and she's like, we gotta go see Fogo Island. And Ben and her and I did. We went up with Ryan, and everyone just loved it.
Nice.
There was
very
a lot
fitting.
Of crazy change in weather, lots of wind. But I thought it was nice to work with a different...
Dude, I want to give props to Jessica, by the way. Absolutely. Not only her work as a cinematographer in this show is absolutely brilliant. I cannot overstate it enough. Can't overstate it enough. Brilliant work, and especially her work with Shakai Bardo. I don't know if that's her directorial debut or not, but have your episode be one of the most visually and emotionally and important and harrowing experiences. It's like the first 5 minutes of Up, but communicate 5 years of relationship in just one episode. And just how did somebody online put it? Somebody was like, that episode had to have been directed by a woman, because I've never seen someone communicate that like female angst and longing and that emotional turmoil so well. Love to see it.
It's really incredible filming that. Just the landscape itself was just so cinematic. We were at this place in the world that was so hostile of an environment, and it was interesting that Harmony had grown up there. It was so cold, and icebergs are floating by.
So fitting.
I felt
so
like it was
fitting.
very much in keeping with Harmony's inner landscape.
Indeed, that's what I was talking about before. I could wax on and on about how everything is so purposeful. Everything from the locations they choose, the fact that they went through 50 shades of white before they found the right one for the inner hallways of the severed floor. Just the visuals, the direction, the aesthetic, the characters, the scenes, the environment, everything is done with such intent and purpose. This is, to me, this is art. It's quintessential storytelling, both on a purely narrative, but also a visual, just from a visual dynamic. It's just
basements are always a big thing on this show. There's
Yes.
always a sense of sort of what is hidden underneath the floorboards.
Indeed.
And what are we keeping tamped down. And for Cobel, I think that's a big part of it, is realizing that she's been used by the Egans and that she hasn't been given her proper due.
Indeed.
My designs!
And so that, combined with the pain that she's seeing that they've caused to her hometown and to the people that she used to love, these are things that are slowly turning her.
Come tame
We're still
these
not
tempers,
sure what
assholes.
exactly she's planning to do.
Blow the lid on it. I don't know if she's going to be because she is a force, make no mistake about it. I don't know if it's going to be a force for good or for bad, though. See, even the shortest episode can still be as important and as well done as all the other ones. I want to say I love the misdirection here, how the thumbnail is of Lumen, in this case the Kier PE Lumen location, but I like how that's the thumbnail, and then we're taking completely out to bum Salt's Neck nowhere. We only have 2 episodes left in season 2. I'm glad I stick around for the behind the scenes because it added some context. I like that and shows the effect Lumen has had on how many towns in this world do we even know, pulling natural resources from the land, which I'm sure could be literal, but also in this case people. Once they're ready, gutted it, scooped it up, moved on, packed up shop, abandoned house, and the town just kind of withered away in their wake. It would make sense if, like, Lumen especially got their start in the more, especially with the stories they tell in these older stories, more rural areas, and then eventually now we're in like cities and we're internationally. That does it for this episode. Feel free to point out anything that I have missed. Oh, actually, I'm sure there is something. James Egan presented Harmony Cobel with the prestigious Wintertide Fellowship. What does that even mean, though? Harmony Cobel's outstanding dedication to the 9 core values has earned her the distinguished honor of being selected as the Year of Wiles Wintertide Fellow. It's like the Year of the Rat. It's like horoscopes. Miss Huan eventually wants to be the Wintertide Fellow. Maybe Miss Huan, being the assistant manager basically for the severed floor, like under Milchek, that's kind of her internship where she can work her way toward. Perhaps she exhibits academic excellence in the core values and tenements of Lumen. So perhaps Miss Huan is another example of one of the rising stars, like what Cobel, like what Harmony was basically, and that's what Miss Huan is now, and that's why it makes sense. Well, that's all we have for tonight. Jeez, as always, feel free to point out anything that I have missed. Feel free to tell me if you think my theories are poo-poo caca dog water, or if you think there's some credence and validity to them. Again, these episodes are available full in their full uncut HD glory over on patreon.com /MovieMan101. Otherwise, you being on YouTube, of course, is more than enough. Stay tuned next week for the next episode of Severance. Love you. Have a good day. Have a good night. And goodbye, travelers. Say goodbye.